I think that the people that were cast correctly and brilliantly. I mean, obviously so, because the ratings reflect that.
I was going to ask you about
right.
that.
So not only can you just have someone that is educated, you know, you have to be able to project on camera. You know, no one wants to watch paint dry. I mean, there was thousands of women that interviewed for the show that were from corporate America
Really?
that were just very boring.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring to the stage 8-time Emmy Award-winning journalist, co-founder, political analyst, social commentary writer, my partner and friend, Mr. Maynard Eaton.
In the whole new genre of television, reality TV has become the thing. There are all sorts of reality shows. But with regard to Atlanta, there have been a few. Some we would like to forget about, like the Bobby Brown show. But this one hit a mark. This one became a national sensation. We're talking about the real Housewives of Atlanta. And one of the stars, one of the true stars, is our guest tonight. Please welcome Miss Lisa Wu Hartwell. Thank you. Look at her. She's a star, isn't she? Thank you, dear. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Sorry to keep you waiting. Have a seat. Now we've been told the limitations of what we can ask, but I do want to ask, why did you do it and how did you enjoy it?
First, let's see. I did it because I have several businesses, and I thought it was a great platform for my businesses. I mean, the amount of exposure that show receives is phenomenal, and I thought it was a great opportunity.
Was it worth it in terms of the time put in? And was it worth it in terms of some say you didn't make a lot of money from it, if any at all?
I think that you have to see the bigger picture,
Okay.
and I think that a lot of us don't embrace that. And if we don't, you know, we are all in for like self-gratification or instant gratification. And so I think you have to see the bigger picture and realize that, okay, this is marketing dollars. Let me do this. It'll happen later on, and you have to plan for that.
How tough was it doing it, to have your life exposed, cameras 24/7? I mean, you're good at this, but I guess you could get even better having them on you all the time.
I don't know if I'm good at this, but, you know.
You're back.
It's a little, I am back, and we're filming the second season. You know, it's a little awkward, but you kind of get used to the cameras. You do. And, you know, people are entitled to their opinion, so you have a lot of viewers that feel that they have the right to know you,
Right.
and they feel like they know you, so they will express their comments.
And there have been a lot of expressions. There have been some criticisms, and there have been some applause.
There's been a lot of criticism, but there's a lot of Housewives fans, really. I mean, you know, our show is like over 2 million viewers each time, and we're coming back for the second season, and we're very blessed for that, and we provide entertainment. But at the same time, you know, we're just living our lives. And there's a lot of, you know, people that were saying they don't represent the women of Atlanta. And I'm like, I represent myself. And I'm sorry if that's not good enough for you, but I'm just living my life. And, you know, a lot of people would have a hard time living their lives in front of a camera.
Did that criticism hurt? Does it cut to the core? Or do you just kind of shake it off and roll with the punches?
You know, initially, you know, you like the attention you get. And, you know, you start reading the blogs initially, and you're like, oh, this is nice, and you get one that you're like, oh, okay, shut it down. So, you know, so
Is that really me?
yeah, so you hear a lot of negative criticism, but I feel that if you're doing something, you're going to have your haters.
But you also have your lovers. Believe me, I have a 31-year-old daughter in South Florida who is crazy about the show. And I think she represents a lot of young women who either love you. Also talked to a Clayton County student who says the show doesn't represent young black women. So on one side, my daughter loves you, a Clayton County student doesn't. Is that what you're finding, this dichotomy of opinion?
You know, it's entertainment, and we're living our lives. But I mean, I'm sure there is somebody on the show that everybody can identify with. I mean, I'm the entrepreneur on the show. I mean, but do I have my moments? I do. I mean, you know, you can look at the other shows, Orange County, New York, and they all had their drama. But when it comes to the African American version, you know, there's a different standard, and it's not fair.
It's not there in terms of the openness to, or understanding of the drama in it? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. You know, I feel that the other, you know, shows that you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. They're like, oh, we're just having fun. But when it comes to us and we do the same thing, we're like super judged. And, you know, that's a little hard, but...
Too harshly criticized? Too harshly condemned?
You know, it's harsh, but at the same time, you have to live your life. And as long as you're true to your family, your friends, and those that you love, that's all that really matters.
What has it done for you? You opened up some new horizons. I mean, you were, as you said, an entrepreneur. Now there's
Is that my list? Is that...
I can't read it. I have my glasses on, so let me take a peek.
That's a long list.
No, that's partly. I just want to talk about you're launching a clothing line called Closet Freak.
Yes.
Now the name alone is enticing.
It's a little risque, right?
To say the least.
Mm-hmm. But Closet Freak, I actually created the line to promote confidence in women worldwide, that you don't have to dress like provocative or like overexpose yourself to be noticed. That women should always be elegant, classy, and sophisticated. In the streets, those things should be like left for later on in the bedroom.
Right.
You got to leave some stuff to the imagination, so that's why it's called Closet Freak. Always conduct yourself as a lady.
Is that resonating? Is that catching on? Is that your role? Your kind of persona
You mean,
on the
is
show?
Closet Freak my role, or what?
Now, your husband's here. I'm not going to ask that.
Is that my role, the entrepreneur?
Yes.
That's how I was born. I think that either you're born like that and you have that mentality, or, you know, you try to pick it up. But that's just me. My wheels are always turning. I mean, really, at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I have to shut down. I'm a writer as well. Right. I'm working on a book, and that's called When the Cake Is Already Made. And it's about domestic violence and some of my personal experiences with that and helping women to survive that. And I write movies.
You are quite an entrepreneur. Now, have you always been well-to-do? I mean, there's some critics and some who applaud you suggest that, wow, black women are like that, have always had that kind of money and buying power and purchasing power? Or you represent the hard worker who earns some money?
I have worked ever since I was like 14 years old. My dad is Asian, and my mom is black. And, you know, she was a stay-at-home mom. And I grew up in Inglewood. You know, I bought my first car. I've always worked, and that's all I know.
What do you think your role in the show is saying to black America or about black America?
I can't speak for the other women. You know, we provide an entertainment, but at the, you know, end of the day, we're representing our lives. And hopefully I can inspire some women that you can achieve some things, and several things, not just one.
I know you can't talk about the new show. We've been talking about that all day long. But what do you think? Is it better? Can you tell us some things to look for without revealing any storylines?
It is definitely raising the bar. There's a lot of entertainment. You have to tune in and watch what happens. And I think you guys will be pleased. Absolutely.
What do you think about the new young lady who's not here yet, Candy Burrows? What does she bring to the show, you think?
Candy is very nice, and she's productive. And so I can appreciate that in anybody. You know, I think we're all opinionated, strong women. So, of course, you're going to have your, you know, taste of drama. But I think she's productive.
When you say drama, what does that mean?
What is drama?
Catty, clawing? Is it made up drama, or is this actually happening? Is it reality, or is it scripted?
You know, there's differences of opinion, and people say that's drama. You know, but people say, oh, I wouldn't act like that. But I mean, I'm sure that you do that every day. It's just that you're not being exposed to millions of people. So, you know, I mean, how you handle it, it's just we all handle that differently. You
said the show represents you are who you are. But collectively, does it represent, you think, the body of what some might think of as the black female in Atlanta particularly?
That's kind of a hard question. It really is. I mean, Nene is funny. People love Nene. You know, we have Kim, and she's fun. You know, I think that there's somebody that everybody can identify with. I can't say that we represent everybody in Atlanta. You know, I think that the people that were cast correctly. And brilliantly. I mean, obviously so, because the ratings reflect that.
I was going to ask you about that.
Right. So not only can you just have someone that is educated, you know, you have to be able to project on camera. You know, no one wants to watch paint dry. I mean, there was thousands of women that interviewed for the show that were from corporate America
Really?
that were just very boring.
Thousands of people interviewed for the show?
Thousands of people interviewed for the show.
Last year or this year, Tom?
Absolutely. And it was funny because they were like, why aren't there any corporate America? Those people were interviewed. It's just that when the camera got in front of them, it's like, okay, you're not very exciting.
In fact, one of your last year's participants was dropped because she was like watching paint dry, right?
That is not the reason. Well, I can't say why she was dropped, but,
You have a personal opinion. You were there. Was she kind of too nice?
Well,
Too nice?
I can't say she was too nice. I didn't really know her that well, I think it's just a matter of not engaging. I mean, people engage, and I can't really talk about that.
Are you glad
He's
she's
trying
gone?
to get me in trouble.
Are you glad she's gone?
Am I glad she's gone? I'm not glad that anybody's gone. I think that, it's an opportunity for a lot of people. And I hate to see castmates go. You do get connected to these women, and we will always be connected.
You talked about the ratings. How popular was this show compared to some of the others? I mean, what does this show bring in, and what did it represent to Bravo?
The Real Housewives of Atlanta is the top-rated show of this series. We're ahead of Orange County. We're ahead of New York, and so they're excited for us to come back. And we'll be back, and hopefully you'll be entertained, and we won't be judged as much.
Does it say something about Atlanta, or does the show kind of reflect the popularity that Atlanta has? I mean, the #1 show says a lot.
I don't know that the popularity that Atlanta has. I mean, we've traveled to different states, and it's quite, impressive that, I've traveled to different appearances in Miami and L.A., and when you get off the plane, you're just embraced really, really well, and it's a lot of love and respect. And people, the demographic of the show is so huge. It's broad. It's like, kids that are like 10 years old. I'm like, what are you doing watching the show? I don't know if you should be watching a show, but you're watching a show, But, and then there's like 60, 70-year-old women watching the show. So it's a wide range. The demographic is huge.
And you anticipate it's staying with it?
I
growing?
think the ratings will double.
You do?
I do. If not like, halfway, it's going to double. There's a lot going on.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you
you
for
being here.
having
Good
me.
luck. Do you have, wait a minute. Talk about your line and your closing line. Do you have a debut coming, or has it already come out? Tell me a bit about it.
Well, I have Closet Freak. It'll be in the stores in spring 2010.
Okay.
I'm
Spring
writing a book.
2010?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm writing a book when the cake is already made. I'm working on a movie, The Root of All Evil. And I've been a writer for a long time, and I'm still a real estate broker. And I have agents under me. The real estate market is slow. So,
Right.
I
That's how
inspire, but I inspire all my agents or anybody to have several irons in the fire. You have to, because when there's a downturn in the market, what are you going to do? You can't, go into the woe is me. You have to be
Right.
productive, and you have to say, okay, what else am I good at? What else am I passionate about? And explore that.
We're going to open it up for a few questions from those in the audience, if you'd like to. Again, I've been scolded not to talk about the show. God forbid we mention the show. But if you want to ask Ms. Hartwell a question that doesn't have to talk about the show,
They want to know about the show. They're like,
please come up and see. Please see Ms. Coit. Is it fun doing it, or is it imposing? You seem full of life, but you have a lot going on, and the show is just part of it, right?
I do have a lot going on, and the show's a fraction of my life. There's a lot of beats that you'll see next season that are very, very sincere and just heartfelt. So it's not only drama, we're providing entertainment, but at the same time, we're living our lives, and we go through a lot of stuff.
Now, you said you're putting out a film. Do I now look at you as an actress doing this show? How do we go from reality to
I've been in the entertainment business for a minute. So, I hosted a show called The Industry for years. And so I've been writing for years. I did a stage play that Tyler Perry directed years ago.
Okay.
And so I've been in it.
But you know what I'm asking? Is this a newcomer reality, or somebody trained and has the skills to do this?
You're speaking to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm trained.
And those...
No, you know what it is? You know what? I paid my dues.
Right, I got it.
Yeah, I paid my dues. I've been doing it for a while. Sometimes you look at people and you're like, are they an overnight success?
Right.
I've been at it for years. You look at people that are millionaires and you think that they got that overnight. It's not the way that it happens. You might fail and you try again. And you might fail again, but you try again. And it's just, the perseverance and the determination that'll keep you going.
Tara, any questions?
We're gonna do a last call. You know how you do the last call for alcohol. We're gonna do a last call for questions.
Tara, I know you have a question.
Somebody got a question.
I'm sure Tara has a question.
So while
too.
you're standing out here asking your girlfriend, well, I want to know who, what. Come up and ask a question.
My question is, out of all the businesses that you have and just the life experience you have, what is your biggest achievement that you feel that you've made as of to date?
Good question.
I would have to say my husband and my children.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I would have to say my husband and my children. You know, I'm very blessed, and I realize that it is a gift to be able to write, but I wouldn't be happy without them. You know, they're everything to me.
And let's talk about your husband for a minute. I mean,
He's handsome, isn't he?
I wasn't going that far.
Oh, wait, I'm going to ask you that.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, girl.
But I know he played a hell of a middle linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons and the Ravens, and we'd like to see him back on the ball field. So, but now he's an entrepreneur along with you, I guess. Why?
Well, no, he's training, and that's football is his life, and he's been playing since he was 7 years old. So, you know, I'm going to support him in going back. You know, it's a little hard, you know, because I don't want him to be injured. You know, I got a little.
And he did suffer a major injury, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, but I mean, he's feeling great.
But what a nurse, goodness.
He's feeling
Next
great.
question.
Hello, I am the owner of Design Phase Boutique here in Atlanta, and I wanted to know about your line Closet Freak. Are you releasing the line to local boutiques?
I will. Where were you at the show?
I actually was there, and I loved the line.
Thank you. We have a lot of Raven reviews, and I'm excited about it. So,
Okay. I look
my
forward to-
publicist is here. She's over there somewhere. April Love, where are you? You can talk to her.
What does it take to put out a line of clothing? Is it just saying, hey, this is what I like to wear, or is it a lot of creative work and I mean, negotiations? I mean, I
It's
know
a
you have
lot
a
of-
name now, but it's more than just a notion, is it not?
It's a lot of work, you know, and even when Sheree was trying to do her line, you know, I was trying to let her know that you have to be hands-on. And it's a lot of work, and you have to know how to conduct business. And
Did her line come out as well?
I can't tell you that.
Okay,
You got to
no.
watch that for the show.
Forgot about that. Oh,
Yeah, see, I'm going to slap him on the wrist.
oh gosh, I asked about the show. Bravo, don't get me. Another question?
No, Maynard, it looks like that's the
Well, I'm
end
sure
of
you
the
have one,
questions.
Tara.
Well, I'm always curious how being on the show has affected you from a business perspective. Has, you know, some people, it helps their businesses and what they do, and some people, it hurts. So what has it done for you and your multiple businesses?
The exposure is phenomenal. It has helped, you know, but then you do have your fans that are fans of the show that are calling for houses, and they really don't want to buy a house. They were like, you know, can Lisa take me out? I'm like, I'm a broker, I have agents, I won't be taking you out. You know, but, so, I mean, it definitely has its positives.
Tell me, how's it changed your life personally, within you as a person?
Yeah, I have a funny story about that. Let me see. It has changed because you cannot go out without being recognized. You know, I needed to get my nails and I needed to get a little groomed, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to this shop no one goes to. So I put on like a T-shirt and it had a little stain on it or something. Then I had these pants that didn't really match. And so I'm in there, I have my hat on, and I'm like, no one's going to see me. Oh, my God, it was so many people. They're like, Lisa, I love your show. I'm like, this is embarrassing. So wherever you go, you still have to look presentable.
Plus, you have cameras following you, don't you?
No, we don't shoot every day of the year.
I see.
Yeah.
One more question from the Atlanta Voice.
Good evening, Lisa, and
evening.
congratulations on all your success.
Thank
My
you.
name is Tiana Faulkner, and I just wanted to know, how do you maintain focus and balance being multifaceted? And it's very inspiring to know that you're a writer. It's something I love to do as well. Talk about just maintaining focus and balance with all of your responsibilities and being grounded and all that you do.
You definitely have to pace yourself. And I have a wonderful team. You know, my husband is my teammate, and he tells me to slow down when I need to because I will take too much on, and he's like, okay, babe, slow down. You know, I'm running a mile a minute. I'm surprised I didn't get up here and run. So, but balance and just knowing that you still need to spend time with your family, your children, and keeping those things in perspective. And some things that I can't finish that day, then it has to be done the next day, but I still have to get family time in.
Finally,
Think about, what do your children think about the show? Do they want you to stay on it? Do they like the attention? Do they want mommy all to themselves?
I have a 14-year-old, 11-year-old, and EJ will be 2. So, of course, everybody has seen EJ. My other 2 sons were not allowed to be on the show because their dad didn't sign the waiver. But they're bummed out because they can't be on the show. But, they're fun. And so hopefully you can experience them. And if not, then, it'll probably just be me in the solo act doing my thing.
wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure. You are really a dynamite person. Good luck on the next season.
Thank you.
I can say that, can I?
You can say that. Thank
God
you,
bless.
guys.
Thank you so much.
Jim Welcome, the creator and executive producer of Newsmakers Live.
The important thing about tonight is we're looking at African American women who have entrepreneurial skills that far exceed their television persona. That's important. We need that every day. We need to encourage them. We need to push them forward. We need to finance their efforts. And I got a lot of rich friends out there tonight. You'll need to look into financing and putting your money behind African American businesses, specifically those that are run by women. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. This has been Newsmakers.